yeah, looking out the window, more and more. I mean, I had some drug-ins not long ago. They didn't last long. Um, you know what I said the other day about them down there. The ad agency will try to build them up again to try to make me notice them. So they like tried playing knock door run. I did say, this time, I'm the one who takes me. They, they knock on doors a certain number of times and so on and so forth. This time, they did it. I've pointed out that this would be the case. So to try and perhaps make it look good for the audience of the commercial break, they did the knock door run down there, and then they sent past a lorry that must be noticed. Yet another one to put to the list. The lorry is called Kalina. Now I don't know what country it's supposed to be from, but I do remember engaging in sexual activity quite a while back, and afterwards there must have been 3, 4, or 5 Kalina lorries wanting to be noticed. It's just like, what? But but at that time it did at least carry a bit of weight with me. I was still persuaded of certain things to do with stuff like that. But now I sort of see it for what it is. But yeah, I've been. So anyway, we got that, and maybe that was an attempt to build them up again into something they're not, or maybe for the ad agency to keep their ball rolling, and so on and so forth. Or maybe this was something else that struck me. It was I don't know if you're privy to this, but when I was on the ward, whenever it was blatantly obvious that the people directing the ad agency were off their fucking heads, right, with paranoia, they would get their workers to run around to try and re-establish some sort of notion that they weren't off their heads, and this was this could be a common feature. And it's like you wonder to yourself, what if people are that eager when they're paranoid not to admit, well, actually, we're a bit off our heads. Then instead of running around trying to establish some power dynamic, it's fantasy, or should be. But it did get me thinking about. I've been thinking a bit about other things today, and that is the chicks downtown. Almost certainly bust in. Possibly workers for the ad agency. Because there was one, I think you'll know, just in grey, walking into the coffee shop. And it kind of struck me, and later on this afternoon, it kind of struck me, hang on a sec. The way that these people are going on, it's sort of like there's ideas about femininity and womanhood that's sort of like chicks in their 20s and 30s are sort of positioned to act like they're in their late fucking 40s. Right? And that's sort of, if you look at that, if you look at the piece of video of the girl dressed in a grey top, I think it was, walking into the coffee shop, you'll get that really restricted, uber conservative, limited depiction of womanhood and femininity in your 20s and 30s. So that you're going round like you're in your late 40s. And it's sort of, that then follows on to the type of colonising effects of the ad agency. Chances are these people are yet more people bust into the town. Point one, I don't think you get that many attractive women in kiddie for a start. But yeah, it did get me thinking that is, and these notions of being a professional and all this business, that sort of, like one of the architects, could claim to have had a profesh job, sort of thing. And that's not only that, hoodwinked them, but they sort of hoodwinked themselves, because the officials between 96 and 2000, because their notions of themselves as profesh sort of gives you blind spots, and makes you think. It can lead to really weak thinking. Like, for example, when I'm smiling at something that brings me joy, and so we get 5 ambulances sent round. It's like, possibly it's to keep their ball rolling. But whatever. Yeah. But yeah, what with the knock door run and everything, like I said. But yeah. Yeah, again, I've had another nice nap this afternoon. I am getting a fair bit of sleep, despite the look, having so much coffee this morning and going into town. But yeah, you'll notice that I've changed the position of the camera, because I noticed the videos I'm doing in this room don't look quite right, so I changed it around a bit. But yeah, like I said, a sense of homeliness, a sense of being back at home. And I suppose if they're, like I say, it's like going out there, and sometimes standing here, it's like watching TV. The amount of adverts that go on, and mind you, I did say I prefer public service broadcasting if they didn't fucking nag me so much. But it is like watching telly, really like watching telly. But for whatever purpose they're going for, when I say I've got a sense of homeliness, is that what they want? Because then they just crack out the juggins like they did a while back, but they didn't last too long. So who knows? Yeah. Real sense of homeliness. There is something to build on. Something that started yesterday. I mean, I think I mentioned in the earlier video, today is the 10th day since hospital. And to, not only yesterday, but today, to feel so at home. I don't particularly at the moment, when I do a video, you would expect this of a total institution. I will be drugged up for the process, and even saying that would be used to say for the process of the total institution, the ad agency. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, it is quite interesting when you think how colonising the ad agency can be, with these notions of womanhood and femininity and all the rest of it, for chicks in their 20s and 30s to go on like they're in their late 40s and early 50s, because that's pretty much, like I said, look at the tape. Those are the subject positions sort of people are implying, like the chicken grey outside the coffee shop. That sort of thing. And then I don't know whether I'm supposed to be positioned in ways like, in relation to chicks going on like that, but I don't know. Just some chick walking in the coffee shop that was probably bussed in with notions of how to be a woman in her late 40s. I don't bloody know. But yeah, anyway, I talked about, actually, incidentally, we were in propaganda about, and adverts about family life. But I was about to say that the stories that went on about family life, I don't need to bring up again, despite the fact that there were adverts around that today. Didn't interest me. I dealt with that yesterday. And the type of stuff we got with Knock Door Run down there, followed by a lorry that must be noticed. It's again, it's like pretty much everything you see, everything you hear, everything you notice, and so on and so forth, is repetition. It's just the same old stuff, cooked up again and again and again. And maybe they're persuading themselves of this stuff. If I smile at something that brings me joy, and they're sending around 5 ambulances, that sort of suggests it. But the trouble with mentioning that is it just seems to encourage them to go running around, trying to establish we're not crazy. Anyway, what a palaver. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. They've cooked up that this much, this many stories and all the rest of it. That I'm just not interested in. It's like the adverts going on outside the coffee shop. I'm really not interested. If it seems to preoccupy these people, that type of stuff. But it doesn't me. But it's like, it pretty much is. And this is an indication maybe that does hark back to the architects, that it does increasingly look like the character that Dustin Hoffman played in Little Big Man, with another character always trying to display his relevance and his position in terms of a power dynamic with Dustin Hoffman's character. It's pretty damn bizarre. But this is the way it is. Yeah, I mean, it is a pity that me starting to feel more at home does get drugged. There are druggings around that, and when I speak to representatives of the local psychiatric unit, if I do, well, I'd rather do it via email because of the druggings and all that that go on. But you can rest assured I'll be drugged up, almost certainly drugged up for the process. That is the nature of the ad agency. But yeah, anyway, like I said earlier, it does make sense to say this is to say things like, as I'm going about my day, not necessarily all the time when I'm doing these videos, because sometimes these videos are just a way to let off steam. The amount of adverts that go on. Sometimes you just think, I just want to get some shit off my chest, all that type of stuff. But yeah, about the way they go on. But yeah, I mean, if they were, if they were genuinely reasonable, as the ad agency tries to portray to their audience, they would accept, well, yeah, this guy, because of the way we're going on, this guy is going to want to let off steam now and again. But it's kind of indicative of how, and now I think in some ways, in many ways maybe, we're starting to see the ways psychiatry and the rest of the ad agency goes on when it really wants something. For example, looking and smiling at something. 5 ambulances, you point that out. They play Knock Door Run, and Lorries that must be noticed. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, just most of the time. Anyway, I think I've got all that off my chest now. And now it's just like, never done that. And it is an essential part. whatever harebrained scheme, whatever harebrained stories they come out with, I'm sure there's drug-ins for it. But, you know, me, I will say things, I'll get them off my chest, and then I will get on with it, as you should. You know, but you would have thought that when I pointed out this lot down there, completely manufactured notions of, completely manufactured for the adverts, the way they go on, as in town as well, the different stuff that goes on there. You know, if they have to go to use that amount of energy to promote things like they do in the biggest advert there's ever been, the biggest commercial break there's ever been, then maybe that suggests a degree of desperation, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested. You know, for me, I want to build off yesterday, where I started to feel more at home. You know, it would be helpful if they didn't drug me up to try and stop me feeling like that at times. But you know, like I said, like I say, if it's got to the stage where you're persuading women in their 20s and 30s, like, for example, the one in Grey walking in the coffee shop today, to adopt the demeanour of someone in their late 40s, then it's yet another indication that the TV is yet again on the blink.